Now, the United Nations Security Council has removed sanctions on Syrian President Ahmed Al Sharaa.
The Council voted in favor of a U.S. resolution to lift the sanctions ahead of a Syrian leader's White House visit next week.
Now, the resolution was approved by 14 members of the Council, while China abstained. The vote delisted Al Sharaa and his Interior Minister Anas Hassan Khattab from the ISIL and Al-Qaeda sanctions list.
Colleagues, with the adoption of this text, the Council is sending a strong political signal that recognizes Syria is in a new era since Assad and his associates were toppled in December 2024. There is a new Syrian government in place, led by President Ahmed Al Sharaa, that is working hard to fulfill its commitments on countering terrorism and narcotics, on eliminating any remnants of chemical weapons, and promoting regional security and stability, as well as an inclusive, Syrian-led and Syrian-owned political process.
The formal lifting of sanctions is largely symbolic, as they were waived every time Al Sharaa needed to travel outside of Syria in his role as a country's leader. An asset freeze and arms embargo will also be lifted. Formerly affiliated with Al-Qaeda, Sharaa's group HTS was delisted as a terror group by Washington as recently as July. In fact, since taking power, Syria's new leaders have sought to break from their own violent extremist past and present a moderate image to foreign powers too.
Now, the move was lauded by Syria, with Foreign Minister Asad al-Shaibani writing on X. Syria expresses its appreciation to the United States and to friendly nations for their support of Syria and its people.
President Donald Trump will now host Al Sharaa for talks on November 10th. Damascus has said that the Syrian leader will discuss issues including lifting remaining sanctions, reconstruction and even counter-terror during the visit. President Trump has expressed hope that Syria will join other Arab countries that have normalized ties with Israel under the so-called Abraham Accords.
The United States is reportedly preparing to establish a military presence at an air base in Damascus. A report citing multiple sources said that this will help enable a security pact that the Trump administration is brokering between Syria and Israel. Reports said that the base sits at the gateway to parts of southern Syria that are expected to make up a demilitarized zone as part of a non-aggression pact between Israel and Syria.
Though it will be Sharaa's first visit to Washington, it will be his second to the United States after a landmark trip in the month of September, where he became the first Syrian president in decades to address the UN General Assembly in New York.
And for more on this, our correspondent Suzanne Tayani has sent us this report from UN headquarters in New York.
The United Nations Security Council has approved a U.S.-drafted resolution removing Syria's interim president Ahmed Al Sharaa and the Interior Minister Anas Khattab from the ISIL and Al-Qaeda sanctions list, a major diplomatic shift signaling the global community's tentative acceptance of Syria's new leadership. The United States, as the pen holder, secured broad backing from council members after revising the draft resolution and removing controversial carve-outs on funding and arms transfer. For Syria, the delisting lifts long-standing restrictions on travel, finance, and other issues. It also strengthens President Al Sharaa's hand ahead of an upcoming meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House, where discussions are expected to center on Syria joining the U.S.-led global coalition to defeat ISIL and re-entering the international fold after more than a decade of isolation. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.